Robin Stevenson is here. She's the executive editor of Canadian Family Magazine. Good morning.
Good morning.
So there's a great article in here about how to keep up with what's going on with your kids at school.
Right.
Because you get the midterm report around what, March?
Yes, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And then from then until June, there probably isn't a lot of feedback that you're getting on how your kids are doing. So how can you keep up? And do you have to do it, I suppose, differently age to age and grade to grade?
There's still a lot of time between now and the end of the year to make a difference. And so you have to kind of, and it's true, you don't get a lot of feedback between now and then, but it's a parent's job to kind of keep on top of that. And if you have any concerns, for instance, my daughter, I was worried about her printing a little. I was concerned that she was turning into a doctor and I couldn't read her writing. Right. But I brought that up to my teacher and she sent back some work from the beginning of the year to now. And I could see how well she had been doing, like the progression.
Right.
And then she said, if you want to work on it some more, here are some tips. It was great feedback. I'm glad I asked. And this was after the report card.
So there's no parent-teacher conferences between this report card and June?
In June. So it's up to a parent if they have a concern or if a teacher has a concern.
Right.
You know, make an appointment. You know, don't ambush a teacher at the end of the day when you're picking up your kid and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm concerned about this." That's not the right time. Like they have things to do.
How would anyone feel if they were packing up their day and then someone decides that because that's not a short conversation probably.
No, like make an appointment and find out how your teacher likes to communicate. Last year, my daughter's teacher was all about the email. And we communicated through email.
But
this year, and it totally works.
Sure.
And this year, my teacher's more about the phone.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to figure out which way your teacher likes to communicate and make a meeting and say, this is what I'm concerned about. Can we talk about this?
How do you feel about tutors? Well, I would never have made it through math in elementary school without a tutor.
My daughter actually does have a tutor.
Yeah.
Last year,
and she's what age?
She's 7.
Okay.
She's in grade 2. Last year, we noticed that maybe her reading wasn't. It was at the lower end of what is considered appropriate in the curriculum. And, you know, but I told my teacher, I said, I'm considering this. And he's like, it's a great idea. Let's work on it together. This is kind of what we're working on. And, you know, if you are going to get a tutor, these are the things to bring up. And my daughter loves this tutor. And so we've continued with her. And her reading is stellar now, but she just really enjoys the extra work with this woman.
How important is balance in terms of parenting? Because I guess if you have a child and you see an issue, you want to reach out to your teacher, but you could overdo that.
Oh yes, because if the teacher brings up something and you're like, not my child.
The
like
teachers know those parents.
Yes, they do. You know, and it's their natural instinct to go, what, my child is not doing well in what? You know, and you have to kind of rein that in and say, oh, is this an issue? And kind of get beyond that and think about your child. And don't go overboard with it either and just say, well, why isn't my child sitting at the front of the class? Why isn't he at the top of the list? Why isn't he this? Like, you have to rein that all in and do what's best for your child.
That's tough for some people.
It's very tough.
Yeah.
And should you ask the teacher for sort of a rundown of the year's curriculum?
You can go to the website for the Ontario website and find out what the curriculum guidelines are to figure out where your child is. But the teacher should be able to tell you, you know, this is where the class standard is in reading or math. And this is where your child falls within that. And then you can kind of focus at night. Maybe you do an extra 20 minutes of reading. Maybe you work on math a little bit more, but you have to ask.
And as kids get into middle school and high school, does it get actually harder to sort of follow up on how they're doing? They sort of, they already, with a 5-year-old, I'm like, how was school? Fine, I'm already getting the fine. Like, I can't even imagine when he's 15 what it's going to be like.
I mean, some kids are really, I did this today, la 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 la, and other kids, you know, it's nothing. You get absolutely nothing. And so you have to kind of get beyond that, and that's the time, there's agendas that the kids have for school, and you can write a little note and say, how's this going? You know, and then this opens up a bit of communication. And sometimes your child inadvertently will say something, they'll be at the kitchen table and say, I just hate math or fractions, you know, and you have to kind of pick up on that and go, okay, maybe they are struggling.
Right.
Can you judge anything by the amount of homework that comes home?
No, teachers give very different homework. Some give it nightly, some give something that comes once a week.
Right.
And that coming back as well is quite different. Like one teacher that Charlotte had was, you know, great about bringing back the homework every week and showing me how, you know, the tests were going. And then another one was like, comes back every 3 weeks. So.
And there's also parents too, aren't there, that actually want more homework because they think it's a sign that their child is doing well?
Yes, like it's a very big thing in the parenting community right now is like no homework, lots of homework, especially in the younger grades. Like what point does homework serve?
Right.
And there is some, you know, but it teaches them responsibility and that type
Discipline.
of thing, and discipline.
To sit
but
down,
a ton of
finish it.
homework is probably
Yeah, I've heard
not there
already
in the
about that
beginning
too.
grades.
That early grades, I've heard parents
Yes.
saying that they're getting 20 minutes, half an hour a night,
yes.
which seems young when you're in grade 2 or something like that.
Exactly. And so you have to, it's just some teachers, you just have to figure it out.
Right. Well, it's a great article in Canadian Family Magazine. Robin Stevenson, the executive director. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.